What's going on, guys? Got another video here for you today. If you're wondering why I'm all gross, sweaty and dirty, it's because I just had to re-jack up the car just to get some stuff underneath it, just in case there are any spills or something. I don't really want to damage the storage unit. Today we're going to do hopefully quite a bit. I need to drop all the fluids out of the car, so I need to siphon out all the fuel. Unfortunately, I filled the car up just before I decided to brake. So I've got to tackle that. I've got to drain the transmission fluid, the engine oil and the coolant. I'm hoping to try and drop the fuel tank today. In order to do that, you actually have to drop the whole rear subframe, so it's going to be quite involved. I would like to drop the transmission before getting the engine out. So while I'm under there, I'm going to have a little bit of a look to see if I can get to all the bell housing bolts so we can actually do that. Unfortunately, I don't have a transmission jack, so we're just going to have to use the actual trolley jack to try and support it while I undo it. I've done an S14's gearbox before, and that one was much smaller, much lighter, and that was still a pain in the ass. So we'll see how we go with an RB box. They're quite a bit bigger and heavier. So first thing we're going to do is probably tackle this, get all the carpets out. Might even get the trunk lid off just to get that out the way, and see how we go from there. To make my job a little bit easier of getting all these carpets and stuff out, I'm actually just gonna take the boot lid off. So to do that, it's bolts everywhere. So it's 2 bolts up here by the looks of it. Just pop this off, and then the same on that side. I got a bit of wiring stuff to do. I did a third brake light in the back window, which is this red wire. Unfortunately, I have to unplug it from behind here and then feed it back through, just because that's the way I wired it up. Try to make it look a bit neat, but yeah, gonna have to fix that. And then once that's done, we'll start tackling all this carpet, hopefully to get to the cover for the fuel pump. Because I tried siphoning fuel out of here, didn't work. Tried going underneath here and undoing that, and tried going through that pipe there, didn't work. So next thing to try is through the top where the fuel pump is. So yeah, let's get started on this boot. Full disclosure, pretty much all the stuff you see me doing, I've never done before, so it's sort of me just guessing as I go along. First I'm going to try and get that cable out there, well, all those cables out there, so when I lift the boot off it can actually come off. I'll pop these off last because they're actually holding the boot up. So get all these plastic clips off. I don't have a trim removal tool, so I'm just going to dip my hand and break them all off, apparently. Fortunately, you can buy these still, so it's not too much of a drama.
At the time of my life, right for the squad, lights through the fog, but we made it, yeah. I'll be good by the morning. I feel like I'm falling. It feel like I'm falling. It feel like I'm falling.
Alright, now that's done. I believe I routed my plug just here. It was a bit of a ghetto job. So we'll just unplug that and then pull these wires through.
No cap, all facts, eyes low, but I'm still woke. No patience, heart glacier, can't see me, the young ghost. Phone blaring, overbearing, shit a blessing that I overcherish. Got these rap niggas' eyes open glaring, cause they overjealous.
Alright, so that's all the cables out. Now we can, I believe we can just tackle these nuts here, and then it should just pop all. Well, actually, once we undo those nuts, it's attached to the latch. So it's just those 10mm, 12mm, something like that.
For the squad, lights through the fog, but we made it, yeah. I'll be good by the morning. Feel like I'm falling. It feel like I'm falling. It feel like I'm falling. It feel like I'm falling. Feel like I'm falling.
Alright, so fast forward a bit. I've removed all the all the plastics, the rubber seal, and all the carpets in the boot. So there's the fuel pump, it's just under there. Just got to undo some bolts and try and get the hat off without breaking it somehow. When I was in here, unfortunately, I noticed that these taillights are literally like epoxied in here, which is going to make it an absolute pain in the ass to change these out or remove them for when the car gets painted. Because I've actually bought some custom LED taillights from Japan. They should be here in about 3 months' time. Yay. But yeah, I have no clue how I'm going to remove these now that they're sealed in. But I'll give it a go. Always up for a challenge. So yeah, next thing I'm going to do is try and undo those bolts and try and get the hat off the fuel pump.
A violation, I've been going places. There's no escaping how I ride my wave and chasing Percy meals with no limitation. Carve a smile with a straight faces. Therapeutic, self-medicated, I've been doing fine for a low life. Seeing clear through the low lights. Straight gas for the stove light. Chasing green, all I know is to go. They see my pro when it shows right. Third finger to my old life. I can't lose. Count up the blue. Spin nothing, reboot. Put on for the crew. It's a cool. Don't got no roof, so I can shoot for the star beam, yeah. Heart race, pounding. So I can shoot for the star beam. So I can shoot.
Alright, so the hat is, or the cover is off. There's just 2 plugs here, one for the fuel sender and one for the fuel pump. I'm just going to set you down while I struggle to get that off. So I can shoot for the star beam. I just hit the Brody, what you want? I just caught myself a little map to remind me where I'm from and where I'm going and where I'm at. Only trust it out my tulips. I talk that truth. I'm out here trying to smell the roses while I'm still here. I'm at the crib, getting toasted. I'm up the dosage. My mind is glowing, set the blow up from how I molded. Never forfeit, must be clutch. How the way I close it, taking more than I can fold. Flip it. Watch it close here. You might pick up on a pro tip. I got the torch, let they want my business. Alright, I got the plugs off. Now it's just a matter of removing the fuel lines. So, white dot at the top, yellow dot at the bottom, and then that regular hose clamp on there. So, got a bit of a record of where to put things. Wish me luck.
Sharp and decent job to come from where the void is. Wanna cop the crib with the cash bag, the last laugh for no mortgage. My mind spinning out of orbit, but right now I feel so right. Flip a third finger to my old life. I can't lose. Count up the blue. Spin nothing, reboot. Put on for the crew. It's a cool. Don't got no roof, so I can shoot for the star beam. Yeah. Heart race, pounding. So I can shoot for the star. So I can shoot. Way up where the sound is. So I can shoot for the star beam, yeah. Flash, heart race, pounding, flip back. So I can shoot for the star beam. So I can shoot. Way up where the sound is. So I can shoot for the star beam.
So got all the fuel lines disconnected. Took a nice chunk out of my finger. Well, it feels worse than it looks. There you go. But yeah, that's all disconnected. Now to get that hat off, it's a massive pain in the ass. Usually people bang it with a screwdriver along those ridges, which is what I'm gonna have to try because I don't have any specialized tools to get that. So yep, here we go. Alright, so got the fuel pump out. Basically this thing was just hooked inside the tank right at the back. Just back there, you can see that sort of plastic thing there. We got the fuel sender unit there. I didn't really want to pull that out, so I just left the plug here. I think it's still more or less secure. Yeah, I have no clue how that's held in there, and I don't really feel like taking it out. So now to try and get all this fuel out of the tank. Alright, so fast forward about what felt like 2 hours. I managed to siphon out 1 jerry can's worth of fuel. The thing is still like half full, a bit hard to see, but we'll probably not be getting the fuel tank out today. But what I've done so long is I've started draining the gear oil. I'm just leaving that to drain for a while because, well, I don't want to spill it everywhere. So what we're gonna do is, while that's draining, I'm probably gonna try drop the rear subframe. I actually wanted to try something with these brakes in order to get because I want to rebuild them. To get these pistons out, usually you need compressed air, which I don't have. So what I'm thinking of doing is actually removing the brake pads and pressing the brake pedal to push the pistons out as fast as possible. I'm either going to piss brake fluid everywhere or it's going to work really well. So before I start dropping the rear subframe, because I'm going to have to unbolt the brake lines and everything, I'm going to give that a go. Alright, so that actually worked fucking awesome. So let the record show that I'm a genius. So I just removed the brake pads, pressed the brakes until they made contact with the rotor, and now the pistons are fully extended for me to remove and rebuild, because as you can see, they definitely needed it. So I only did the rears because I wasn't too sure how this was going to work, because the fronts have 4-pot calipers. So now literally going to do the exact same for the rears, for the front, sorry. Put down a whole bunch of stuff because I was worried brake fluid was going to go everywhere. So let's have a go at the front now, I guess. So I had a little lunch break and had to go get some more brake fluid to keep pumping the brakes, because actually it ended up running dry, so I couldn't get the pistons all the way out. But as you can see, all 4 pistons all the way extended on the side, as well as on this side. A bit dark, but I'm gonna have to take my word for it. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to unbolt all the brakes. I need to leave the brake rotors so that I can rebolt the wheels on later. But I'm going to start with the rears so that they can drain all the lines and see how we go from there. And just like that, the rear brake on the left-hand side is out. I just left the drain pan from the gear oil under here just to let all the fluid drain out there. As you can see, the pistons are nice and extended, so they'll be easy to get out when I rebuild the calipers. For now, I'm just going to dump them in a little container and hop over to the other side and do that one. So driver's side's done. Now I'm going to hop onto the front brakes. So for the front brakes here, it's just a matter of getting this clip off, breaking the brake line, letting it drain, and then there's a big old bolt there and a big old bolt there, and the whole caliper should come off. So another one bites the dust. See the brake fluid still leaking out there. Gonna move on to the driver's side now, and then that should be all the brakes off the car. So there you go, that's all 4 brakes off of the Skyline. Now I'm gonna go to the rear end and get the handbrake cables off the rear subframe and get it ready to drop. I think next course of action is actually to get this exhaust out. Obviously that's in the way of the subframe, so I'll start undoing all the banjos and get it out. So exhaust is out of the car. It was a lot of fun, and now we can have access to the subframe. So I'm gonna try to find those handbrake cables and unbolt them. So I'm under the car. That's the back of the car. I'm upside down now. As we come forward, here's where the tail shaft meets the diff. Nice and rusty, of course. But more importantly, that's where the handbrake cables bolt up. So there's one there on the fuel tank strap, one over there on the fuel tank strap on the other side, and then they come forward, and that's where they hook up to the handbrake, and there's another bolt there for them. So I'm going to try and do all those bolts and unhook them over here. Then the subframe should be good to drop once I obviously unbolt the drive shaft, I think. Yeah, maybe. Alright, let's give it a go. Yeah, so I got all those bolts off. Having a bit of trouble getting it off of the standoff there. I'm gonna wait until the drive shaft's out of the way. But I'm fucking knackered. I can't be bothered doing that today, so that is gonna be it for today. Wrap up what we did. I got, let's see how, you can see how I look into the car. So wrap up of what we did today. I sucked on a bunch of fuel to empty the fuel tank. If anyone's wondering what it tastes like, pretty much like tequila except worse. So fuel tank's half empty, need to do it again. Got the fuel pump out. We got all the boot stripped, obviously, to get to the fuel pump. And we got all the brakes off the car all the way around so they can go and get rebuilt. I'll probably rebuild them myself, so I'll do a video on that. And then we got the handbrake all unbolted, so next time it's just drop the drive shaft, get those handbrake cables completely disconnected, and then we can drop the rear subframe and then the fuel tank. And that should be it, hopefully. Didn't get a chance to have a look at the gearbox, so I have no clue how we're going to get that out. But that's future Brandon's problem. So, thanks for joining me. Have a good one. And I'll see you in the next one.